Is the World Baseball Classic making Alek Thomas into an all-star? We're talking about it right now. Don't you go anywhere. We're going to get started here now. Happy Monday to you all. Welcome into another edition of the PHNX Diamondbacks podcast, live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. It is I, your mayor of PHNX. Thrilled to have you guys here. Happy Monday to you all. Hope you all had a tremendous weekend. Shout out to J Army Strong in the chat who says, anyone else enjoy the amazing weather at the Dbacks game in Goodyear yesterday? Me and Damon enjoyed the beautiful weather out in Mesa, Arizona, as part of the downtown Mesa's baseball block party. That was an amazing event. Of course, I'm joined by my guy on the ones and twos, my all-star, Damon Fairall, aka Damon Dog, on the ones and twos today. Damon, good stuff this weekend, hanging out with Augie Ojeda and Chris Owens.
Yeah, I was going to say, I honestly, like, it's good to be back with you. We had a great time in Mesa, but I do feel like a little bit empty without my new best friends, Chris Owens and Augie Ojeda,
especially Augie
on the panel with us.
Augie could be the third man in this group right here.
Absolutely,
easily.
I'd argue he should.
He would fit right in.
I went straight into Espo's office. I told him, I said, we need Augie Ojeda as a part of this podcast yesterday.
And if we don't have him, we're gonna riot. And Jason loves how rioty we get when we don't get what we want around here. But
also, Derek, like, I got to be honest with you. This is no offense to you. This is way more of like a propping up Augie Ojeda. But like, I'm pretty sure you don't want that guy sitting next to you every day on the podcast.
I did introduce him as still handsome as ever, I believe.
I mean, he has aged like every like Latin pop star that has ever aged.
Right.
Like that's what like, you know, Mark
like a
Anthony
fine wine
like.
Doesn't describe it. Right?
No, yeah.
A fine wine just tastes better with time. It doesn't get more handsome. It doesn't stay inexplicably tan in a very thorough way. Like he's tan from head to toe.
The perfect amount of salt and pepper in the hair and in the beard.
I could only hope to be that handsome when I have gray hair. We know that's not going to happen. We've already started to see what this face looks like with gray on.
Dude, I mean, I don't want Augie Ojeda sitting next to me either on a podcast.
No. I don't want to be the because then I'm going to make him look even more handsome.
Yeah. Oh, there's Augie Ojeda and the ugly guy.
Derek. Well, that's
or Damon. I'm speaking from personal experience, not calling you ugly.
Well, what's also ugly was our picks for the World Baseball Classic a little bit. Not all of them. We knew which teams were going to get in. We knew which teams were going to advance. But World Baseball Classic action has been tremendous. Rock and I did a Dbacks After Dark this weekend where we just talked about how the World Baseball Classic right now is making us forget that spring training even exists. And that is no attack on spring training, because most people would probably think it ceased to exist anyway during this time of the year. But again, the World Baseball Classic has been exciting. We had as our qualifiers here USA, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Japan. Those would be the pool winners. And then our second place teams here were Canada, Mexico, Australia, Venezuela. Venezuela's in. So that one's good. Australia out, not so great. Those boys put up a heck of a fight. But because of the weird tiebreaker rule in World Baseball Classic, which we'll get to here shortly, they are eliminated. They almost made it in, even with a loss. Mexico, they have a big game to get today against Team USA. And that Team Mexico team is a beast. I honestly don't know how that game is going to go. And I'm so excited that Damon and I are going to be getting together tonight for a watch party, so you guys can come join us, and we can all watch that together. So that's going to be fun tonight.
Let's party, Derek. I mean, if you guys aren't doing anything, if you're planning on watching this game anyways, watch it with me and Derek on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. Let's just hang out a little bit. Yeah. It's always way more fun when we have people in the chat talking with us and we're kind of carrying out conversations that are not just Derek and Damon doing the podcast.
We get so sick of each other.
Yeah.
We get so tired.
We almost fought before the show.
Oh yeah, no, I mean we
had to do a little bit of marriage counseling.
Yeah, we came in here and did the are you being passive aggressive to me? You're being passive aggressive to me. What's the passive aggressiveness here?
Do you hate me?
Yeah. What did I do to you? Right. 2BMC makes a great point. Canada threw it away versus Panama. They really did. They had a chance there late. There's been some exciting games. Puerto Rico walking off with a walk-off in 10th inning there to stay 2-0. They still have some work to do here against Team Canada. Canada kind of has to beat Puerto Rico in order for them to make it into that quarterfinal round. So a lot of work to be done here. Obviously,
is Skeens on the mound tonight, Derek?
What's that?
Is Skeens on the mound tonight for?
Skeens is on the mound.
Wow, it's going to be. I'll say this: this is my first time in my life getting to root for a team that has Paul Skeens on it.
Oh yeah, it's going to be fun.
I bet that's going to be special.
Yeah.
You're like, wait, Pirates fans do this all the time?
Yeah, this is what you get to do every 5 games. This is amazing.
This magician, this human giant on the mound.
Meanwhile, Tarek Skubal might not be pitching anymore in the World Baseball Classic. He says it's hard to walk away, but it sounds like he has pitched his last game for Team USA. He's still weighing the decision to stick around, and I can only imagine how hard it is, right? I did my little full house opening from the Team USA clubhouse yesterday, which I thought was funny. Apparently, some people don't even remember that show exists, but looks like they're having great times. And Tarek Skubal was the weird Uncle Joey at the end where he's making funny faces into the camera and doing stuff.
Derek, what show are you talking about?
God,
right? I have no idea.
I just aged 10 years because you said that, but I mean,
who's John Stamos?
Yeah, don't try me. You know exactly what show I'm talking about. But could you imagine walking away from this kind of energy and this action? These World Baseball Classic games have been so incredibly entertaining. They should be better attended. I will say that. That is one thing that Rock and I discussed. There is definitely something to be said about ticket prices for baseball needing to come down a little bit. It does not appear that people are just deciding to pay the amount and go to these games. The cheapest ticket for today's game between Team USA and Team Mexico, as we talked about last night, is $79 plus fees. But meanwhile, it's going to cost you $59 to sit in a seat for Dbacks versus the Mariners out at Salt River Fields. And who's going to be in the lineup for those games? No disrespect to Zach Gallen, no disrespect to our guys, but between the Mariners lineup having half of their guys gone to the World Baseball Classic, no Randy Arozarena, no Josh Naylor, no Julio, Rodriguez. There's a lot of guys missing there, not to mention from the Diamondbacks as well. But you're still paying a premium price to go sit during the daytime and watch a lot of minor league guys play baseball. So I still think that baseball needs to do better about getting people in the building and then, letting things work itself out as far as how much people spend on concessions and merchandise and other stuff like that. Michael Dixon, yes, Cal Raleigh. Sorry, forgot Cal Raleigh. But speaking of Josh Naylor, Team Canada on Friday beat Colombia by a score of 8-2. That was good for them. Bo Naylor was 2 for 4, Josh's brother, with a home run and 3 RBI. Michael Soroka, 4 innings pitched in that one for Team Canada, yield just 1 inning, 1 earned run, 5 strikeouts there. But overall here, Canada broke the game open with a 4-run 8th inning to pull away. You got Netherlands beating Nicaragua on Friday. You got Italy. Everybody beat up on Brazil. They were still a fun story. Puerto Rico takes care of Panama in 10 innings. That was the walk-off there. And again, if you think the World Baseball Classic doesn't matter, just listen to what Ozzy Albies said about, hitting his walk-off. I think it was against Nicaragua, right? Said it was the best moment of his life, and this is a man that's won the World Series. This World Baseball Classic matters to these guys. Venezuela took care of business. United States on Friday, 9-1 over Great Britain. Dominican Republic, 12-1. Mercy ruled the Netherlands. Juan Soto had a home run. Vladimir Guerrero had a home run. Junior Caminero had a home run. I think I had a home run. Damon had a home run. Everybody home runned in that game. Cuba, they're 2-0. They've been doing good things. They beat Colombia 7-4. You got, again, the aforementioned loss. Canada lost to Panama 4-3. That really changed things for that team, making that game now that they have against Puerto Rico very, very important for them to try to make it into the qualifying round. And again, Japan beat Australia barely. Australia put up an amazing fight against Japan. These are games that I've been up very early to watch. I'm very tired right now, but I don't care because they've been exciting. You got Japan beating Australia 4-3. Shohei had a home run in that one. Seiya Suzuki, amazing, two home runs. But the big game was this morning. I don't even remember days anymore because I was barely awake watching it. But South Korea versus Australia, very weird situation going on there in that Pool D because they had a three-way tie, essentially, or is it Pool C? Excuse me, Pool C. They have a three-way tie there amongst Korea, Australia, and Chinese Taipei, with South Korea winning over Australia by a score of 7-2. All of those teams were 2-2. Tommy Edman had 3 hits. Haesung Kim, an RBI and runs scored. Korea recorded 10 hits in the win. And they won by just enough, Damon. They won by just enough to keep our guys from Australia out of the second round. When I say that, I mean, as it turns out, Korea literally needed every run, and they needed to keep Australia from scoring any more runs, because had they allowed Australia to score one more run, or had the game ended by a score of 6-2 instead of 7-2, which made that run that Korea scored in the top of the ninth very important, Australia would be in and Korea would be out. Even if Korea would have won the game. There were all sorts of discussions online about how weird it would have been, because in the top of the ninth, even though Australia probably would have gone on to lose that game, or bottom of the ninth, even though Australia would have gone on to lose that game, had they scored one run, it would have been like walking it off, but in the middle of the inning with more game to play. You know, like if they had one out and they scored a home run and they made that game 7-3, Australia advances. And that's all because of this weird quotient way of determining tiebreakers with the World Baseball Classic, the run quotient tiebreaker. And again, it would have been just so strange. This was such a strange situation. It made the game exciting, Damon. I didn't understand it. I know a lot of people don't know the formula or exactly how it's calculated, but if you tell us basically that a team needs to win by so many runs in order for them to advance, or another team needs to keep them from winning by less than 3 runs, or 3 runs or less, then it makes even a blowout like this. This was a 7-2 game, and I was on the edge of my seat watching it there in the 9th inning. It was incredible because, again, this tournament it goes by very quickly. Every single game matters. Every win matters. Every loss matters. And even when it comes down to ties, the amount of runs you've scored in this tournament matter. It's the reason why all these mercy rule games and things are happening. These teams are trying to do everything they can to ensure something doesn't slip up and cause them to not make it into the next round. So again, Korea won by fewer than 5 runs in 9 innings. Australia would have advanced despite the loss. When teams have identical records, the tournament does not look at total wins. Instead, it uses statistical tiebreaker rules to decide which team advances. And here's the craziest part, Damon. Had Korea and Australia score been 8-3 instead of 7-2, or if they went on to extra innings, no, that wouldn't have happened, but or 8-3 here overall, or even higher, or different score, Taiwan would have advanced, even though they had nothing to do in this game, and even though the outcome of the game would have still been the same. Kind of crazy stuff.
That is wild.
It does feel like, even though it's complicated, and you know I don't like complicated stuff, it does make games matter more. It takes me back to like where Jimmy from John Boy came up with a plan on how to make the playoffs more fun and how to include more teams when you have certain teams like the Dodgers at times kind of running away with the division year after year, right? Like find creative ways for the other teams in those divisions to get in, have a first half winner, have other things like that. This is one of those things that, albeit confusing and getting math involved, which we don't love that, this still does feel like it made this more exciting, even in a 6-2, 7-2 blowout loss. So that was fun. Meanwhile, the big fun was Mexico beating Brazil 16-0. They mercy ruled Brazil. It's one of the most lopsided games in the entire tournament, and our guy Alek Thomas was a huge part of it. 3 for 3 in that game. Rowdy Tellez had a home run, 4 RBI. Randy Arozarena, 3 hits, 3 runs. Isaac Paredes, 3 for 4 with an RBI. Alek Thomas, 3 for 3 with a home run, 3 RBI, and 2 runs scored. He just continues to have a huge tournament so far, even though it's in a very small sample size. It's not like he's had a lot of at-bats, similar to spring training. But Thomas is hitting .571 with a 1.625 OPS through Mexico's first games.
That's his spring training stats.
But what we have is here, not the spring training stats, but we have the combined stats here for Alek Thomas. This is what Alek Thomas is hitting.
Lots of Alek Thomas content on this channel right now.
Oh, we'll give you all of it. Well, I mean, and rightfully so, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is something that we have wanted to see out of Alek for so long. We've seen in small windows, but I can't even recall a time where Alek Thomas was on fire like this during any stretch of his career with the Diamondbacks.
No chance, no.
He's had moments like this, right? He's had like a week. And again, this is still a very small sample size, even though it feels like spring training has been going on forever. We're about 2 weeks into it. But still, his combined stats really show that Alek's mechanical changes at the plate, especially with his leg kick, have at least led to some early results that are very, very exciting. Mm-hmm. Give you a lot of hope for the future here. Alek's hitting .434 so far in spring training and WBC combined. He has a .500 on base percentage, a .739 slug. All of that's good for a 1.239 OPS, and he has 8 RBI. So again, this is what Thomas has been doing. The idea here of Alek Thomas having a breakout season, I don't know if you want to call it that, but I feel like what it is more than that, right? It's a breakout season would be something we just discussed for like Jordan Lawler. I think that's still a young player, which I'm not trying to age Alek and act like he's ancient, but I feel like
he's had more opportunity than Jordan for sure. Like,
absolutely.
He's been a guy that has been, a starter on this team for 3 seasons now. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of put up or shut up time. Whereas Jordan Lawler, at least, he's been terrible, but he's had the active excuse of, I'm not getting a lot of at-bats consistently.
Very
Whereas
true.
Alek Thomas is, and there's been times where he's had to go down to Reno. There's been times where he's had to be called back up. And it hasn't been exactly the run you've wanted to see out of a prospect the caliber of Alek Thomas with the potential of an Alek Thomas.
You could argue that his career path has been very similar to one Jake McCarthy in a way.
Yeah.
Right?
He's just a little bit better version of Jake McCarthy so far. Yeah.
But Jake McCarthy, even at one point, had higher considerations for Rookie of the Year than Alek did.
I think Jake's best seasons probably actually outclass Alek's best seasons, especially if you look at 2022.
At least stretches, right?
Yeah.
When you're talking about that, it as a fan, it forms memories for you. You're like, I remember this time. Even if your memory of it might be convoluted, or even if your memory of it might not be what you remember it to be, you still have memories of players being very good for stretches. And, again, not to say Alek Thomas hasn't. He has one of the biggest home runs in Diamondbacks history. He has been incredibly important in the outfield. And I think because of how good he is defensively, it's easy to forget or overlook all of his achievements that he's had out there, specifically in the outfield at times. But putting it together at the plate the way that he has so far this spring feels like it brings a completely different dynamic to this team. Damon talks about adding, trade deadline pieces that we know are coming for a fact before the trade deadline, right?
Yeah. And Augie Ojeda and Chris Owings also talked about these acquisitions at the trade dedeadline, by the way, this weekend.
And again, we talked about how each time those guys come back, they provide that spark for this team, right? It's just such a huge, thing to look forward to. Like, oh man, in a week, Corbin Burnes is returning, and then Corbin Burnes is back. And as long as Corbin Burnes is healthy and as good as you remember him to be, then you're just like, yes, we just got a little bit better. And it feels that way every single time. With the way that Alek Thomas is playing right now, not to say that this is going to translate in this exact same form over to the regular season, but with the start that he's had, it almost feels like the Diamondbacks picked up yet another free agent this offseason. I mean, that's the difference in the way that Thomas is playing right now offensively versus the way that he played last season and in past seasons. It was a beautiful moment. His father was there. His father is the strength and conditioning coach, I believe, for Alek Thomas for the Brazilian team. So he got to sit in the dugout of the opposing dugout and watch his son hit that big home run, have that big game yesterday, going 3 for 3. And
that's really interesting, actually.
Yeah, and I think that it's just he is one of those guys that I don't necessarily feel people think that he's bad, but he does get the, he does have certain connotations tied to him. The grounding out softly to the second baseman is something that I think a lot of fans say with Alek Thomas, because it feels like it's always that, or hey, maybe he'll get a hit or a home run. But for the most part, it feels like it's feast or famine with him. Now what we're seeing is consistency, and that's what you want to see out of Alek, right? Like, he doesn't need to hit a ton of home runs. In fact, he's not. That home run that he hit in the game for Mexico is his first home run, I believe, of that actually counts, of spring or of World Baseball Classic play, right? But I don't think the Diamondbacks need that of him, just like they don't really need a slugger on this team if they have Perdomo and Ketel and Corbin all hitting somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 home runs. You have contributions from Nolan Arenado, you have contributions from Pavin Smith, and maybe a few other guys here that could really change the game. Not to mention Lourdes Gurriel and other guys who are injured that will be returning like Lourdes as well. So again, Alek, we just need him. Ernesto says here, Alek Thomas at 250 with 12 to 15 bombs with above average defense is all we need.
Absolutely.
That's a minimum, right? But if we get Alek Thomas hitting 275, or if we see Alek, joining the 20 home run club, those are all things that it feels like you added a different player to.
Well, if Alek's hitting 275 with 20 bombs, Derek, he's a potential all-star.
Well, and I mean that,
which I think that might be a little bit too ambitious, but I think what Ernesto says is entirely realistic. If he can give you 15 home runs to a 250 average, he's an entirely different caliber of baseball player than what he has shown you so far in his career. Well, and that's I mean, you're not asking for him to be a god. Just be average at the plate and be above average defensively.
We have this from Bob Nightingale, a tweet, and Bob Nightingale said, Mexico manager Benji Gil believes the Diamondbacks center fielder will be a perennial all-star and Gold Glove winner.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Benji Gil has only seen Alek Thomas for a short stint as part of Team Mexico, but this is also Alek's second time participating in the World Baseball Classic for Mexico. So I don't know. I think that when you get praise like that, when you are seeing guys evolve, take that next step in their career, it can happen suddenly. I mean, let's be honest. One of the funniest things I can think of from 2025 is the fact that in 2024, Corbin Carroll had one of the flattest swings in baseball. And in 2025, he had the highest percentage of swings taken with the perfect angle as far as bat angle for exit, for launch, launch angle is what it is. That's crazy that he was tied for the best percentage of at bats with the essentially perfect launch angle between 5 and 20 degrees for his bat, launch angle. Like, that's a huge improvement. And when you went from having one of the flattest swings to essentially having the highest percentage of perfect swings, it's a testament to the work, but it just goes to show how a player can put in that work and make those improvements, make those adjustments, and become a better player. That's hopefully what we're seeing out of Alek Thomas, and it's starting to venture into the neighborhood of, no longer being a small sample size. It's starting to be in the neighborhood of him being able to, or it looks like he's really starting to put some things together at the plate, right? 2BMC said AT at 249 in 143 games last year, but only a 0.1 WAR. He also wasn't great defensively last year, I would say. We've definitely seen Alek Thomas play better defense in center field. It remains to be seen how a potential move is going to impact him. And again, also playing for, I guess, competing for playing time here against a younger Jordan Lawler, who is also playing very well this spring, should, bring out the best in AT, or at least should provide the Dbacks with the best outfielder, depending on who is playing the best, right? Lourdes Gurriel Jr. also has, a lot of work to do there when it involves him not only coming back from that injury, but outplaying these guys for time when this regular season gets rolling on. But so far, very encouraging things from Alek Thomas. You love to see it. We're going to take a quick break here, but on the other side of this break, we are going to talk more about the Diamondbacks spring, what's been going on overall here with Jordan Lawler and some of the other prospects. We're going to bum Damon out a little bit by talking about some roster moves that happened. And we got your updates on Corbin Carroll, who once again is a machine. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, hopefully you don't have to call the husband and wife law team, because hopefully you do not experience a serious injury or accident. But if you do, that is where you should go first. Mark and Alexis Breyer are the husband and wife law team, and they are here to serve accident and serious injury victims. They are from Phoenix. They have raised their 8 children here, and their focus is always client results, as well as giving back to the community. Their team brings hundreds of years of experience, of combined trial experience on top of that, along with multiple certified specialists in personal injury and wrongful death. In Arizona, the state bar has certified less than 1% of all lawyers as specialists in injury and wrongful death litigation, which is what sets the husband and wife law team apart. They also will make promises to you as their client. They can't guarantee the results or the outcome of your case, but they can guarantee that they will let you know you can cancel your fee agreement with them at any time for any reason. You'll receive as much in your pocket as they receive for their fee, even if they have to reduce their attorney fees to do so. And you may speak to one of their attorneys as often as you choose about anything you wish. So if you've had a serious injury, call the husband and wife law team first at 602-783-8841, or visit their website at the link in our show notes and tell them PHNX sent you. And of course, everyone needs a checking account, so make sure you get yourself a checking account with built-in perks. Get yourself a checking account that gives back to you. Get a checking account for your lifestyle. That is what the My Style checking account for Mountain America Credit Union is for. It has built-in perks just for you, including restaurant deals, mobile phone protection, telehealth access, identity protection, and so much more. You can get discounts on loan rates. You can get offers on travel and events. And of course, there are new benefits being added all the time. So make My Style for your lifestyle at Mountain America Credit Union. Visit macu.com/mystyle to apply today. Insured by NCUA, membership is required based on eligibility. Some benefits require no cost registration activation. Terms, conditions, and exclusions do apply. Well, believe it or not, spring training is still happening. I know many people are not paying attention to it because World Baseball Classic, right? I mean, not only is spring training doing a terrible job of televising spring training, which I feel that during this tournament. Like, I would have stopped broadcasting spring training games during the tournament. However, there was a solid period of time where they weren't really providing us with many games before the tournament had started. That felt like a little bit of a letdown. I think that causes people to lose interest. Not to mention the fact that now you have lineups consisting of guys that have been optioned to minor league camp, and they are still in the Diamondbacks lineup, because if they got rid of all these guys with the guys playing in WBC, there literally wouldn't be enough bodies to fill up the starting lineup. But the Diamondbacks did lose to the Reds yesterday by a score of 13-4. Jordan Lawler, once again, the aforementioned Jordan Lawler, went 2 for 4 with another home run and 2 RBI. He has homered in 3 of his 8 spring training games. He has reached base 14 times in his 23 at-bats, and he has also flashed some incredible defense in center field. I am starting to believe in Jordan Lawler. Not to say I was a doubter, but I do think that we are trained as fans at times to think that if these guys play a certain position, that it's going to be more difficult for them to switch to a different position. Yet when you talk to baseball players about it, Damon, they will straight up be like, it's catching a ball somewhere on the field, it's throwing it. You know, like they do break it down into being the most basic of tasks.
Yeah, but then sometimes you'll be like, hey, we moved you from, third base to first base, and you're like, it must be so much easier, right? And they'll be like, actually, no, it's the hardest thing I've ever done. Yeah, and you're like, wait, what? No, you do get different answers from different guys on that.
Right, and I mean, again, there's guys that refuse to change positions, like the Rafael Devers situation, right? That changed everything for those 2 franchises. But Jordan Lawler, again, he's needed. He is, it's one of the only ways that he's going to get at-bats during the regular season that are regular everyday at-bats. He's going to be able to fill in the infield as well, so there's that. But their primary focus right now is Jordan Lawler playing center field, and he continues to be outstanding out there. Meanwhile, another guy that continues to be outstanding, Ryan Waldschmidt, he went 3 for 3 with a walk in the loss. And Ryan Waldschmidt was part of a group of roster moves that the Diamondbacks made yesterday. including optioning Mitch Bratt, Juan Burgos, Cole Drake, Grant Holman, and Jose Fernandez, all to AAA Reno. Meanwhile, Gerardo Carrillo, Hayden Dirk, Junior Fernandez, Spencer Geesting, Taylor Rashi, Lou James Groover, Christopher Torin, Tommy Troy, AJ Vukovic, and Ryan Waldschmidt have all been reassigned to minor league camp. Now, we had a question I don't think we got this one in, Damon, for Mailbag Monday, but I did see it, and someone had asked, I believe it was Katie, had asked, what's the difference here? What's minor league camp? Like, why do you get reassigned to minor league camp here during spring? It's really just a way for them to take the non-roster invitees and get them off of what is considered their spring roster. There are cuts that need to be made at certain points. And realistically, what it comes down to is the guys that are optioned to AAA Reno are typically guys that were at one point on the 40-man roster. And that was done to protect them from the Rule 5 draft. It was also done when, trades are made or guys are picked up and, basically signed to the 40-man roster, like Grant Holman was, right? These guys have options left. They get optioned. So now they are part of the Reno Aces. Meanwhile, the guys that are minor league camp, she asked if it was a purgatory. It's not really a purgatory. And sorry, Katie, I know it wasn't you now. I see the question. My bad. But it was Karen with a C. It's not purgatory necessarily. It's just their way to still have them be here as part of the spring training, rosters and camp. But, they are not part of the major league roster. They're not part of the 40-man roster. And they will be reassigned to different levels of minor league ball. They just don't know where each guy is going to necessarily go yet. And I don't even know if that's the case. It's not that they don't know it. That's probably me misspeaking. It's probably more about they just haven't made that, move to assign them to where they're going to go next. Also, again, with the World Baseball Classic rosters being what they are, these guys are still able to play in spring training games, which is something the Diamondbacks need because they need bodies. They need actual human beings to get out there and play. But it's unfortunate, right, Damon? I know you obviously have been the biggest pusher of the Ryan Waldschmidt agenda. And this does not shut the door on Ryan Waldschmidt being a part of the major league roster this year. This just basically places him most likely in AAA Reno and puts him, getting at bats, staying ready, and probably one of the first outfielders they will call should they need that depth at a major league level.
Unfortunately, it is an L for me, Derek. I think it goes down as an L, which,
between this and Australia, it's a bad day.
Typically, we like to speak things to existence on this podcast. Specifically, I feel like the things that I like to bring to the table for the people, we like to make happen campaigns. But this one,
hate to let them down on this.
Feels
one.
like we fell a bit short.
Yeah.
But we won't let go of the dream. And I think Ryan Waldschmidt at some point this season is going to be one of the first injury replacement call-ups that they have on the roster. So,
and I mean, again, not to speak this into existence, but the Diamondbacks have had their fair share of injuries. If you recall from last year, was kind of a problem. So it's not to say, oh, hey, we're rooting for that, but it does feel a little good to have players that you're excited about that would be replacement players should something happen to your major league roster players. It feels different than last year when if guys got injured, every guy that got injured felt like it was the end of the world for this team. And in most cases, it actually was. But you have Tommy Troy hitting .429 with a 1,000 OPS in spring. You have Lawler hitting .348 with a 1.266 OPS after his 2-for-4 day yesterday. And then you just have a couple of other guys that are still hitting the cover off the ball. Ryan Waldschmidt, .321, 903 OPS. There is not much more that someone like Ryan Waldschmidt could do to prove that he belongs here. This is the reason why you could say spring training is frustrating to watch as fans. This is the reason why spring training is frustrating when you hear that there's these competitions, but are there actual competitions? Or, is this just for the coaching staff and the front office to get a good look at these guys and be like, yeah, in a year, that guy's going to be, a stud for us, right? It doesn't really feel like these guys played poorly. So that is not the reason why they're being reassigned to minor league camp. It's just they were never, it's a 26-man roster.
It's not their time. That's all. That's all it is. Maybe the D-backs depth is a little bit better than we thought it was. Obviously we know this roster is very top heavy. When you look at Corbin Carroll, Geraldo Perdomo, Ketel Marte, even Corbin Burns, Zach Gowen, Merrill Kelly, right? But you're trying to fill in those kind of middle pieces with guys that are going to be average to a little bit above average. And I think that's where Alek Thomas comes in. That's where Jordan Lawler comes in. That's where, and I think that he's kind of played himself out of this role. But I'll throw him into the crew here. Ryan Nelson, right? Who are the guys that are going to step up with the highest paid players on this roster and kind of fill out the middle pieces? And those are the guys that are going to, as I keep saying, make or break the D-back season. So it's good to see Lawler, Thomas, Waldschmidt, Pavin Smith, even to a little bit of a lesser extent, getting good ABs and good reps in spring and kind of hopefully they can hit the ground running once the regular season starts so that it doesn't take a big adjustment period for Alek Thomas to, need 3 weeks before he starts hitting the baseball at a decent level. Let's do it from jump one. Every good D-backs team that I've pretty much ever remembered in my entire life has been good because they start off the season hot.
Yeah.
And there's a month in the between there, in June, where you're like, oh my God, this is the worst team in baseball. But the hot start was good enough that it kept the team relevant for the entire season. So I think it's incredibly important to hit the ground running and get off to a really positive start early here so that we're not playing catch up the rest of the way. And that's going to come down to those players that I just named.
And if they can do that, even if it fizzles out, they have the return of A.J. Puck in June or even late May, perhaps. They have Corbin Burns returning in July. They have Justin Martinez returning. You have Lourdes Gurriel that should be back in, April or maybe even earlier. So there's a lot of pick-me-ups in there along with that. So the hot start would do wonders for this team, especially considering how difficult their schedule here is to start the season. I mean, kicking things off in Los Angeles against the Dodgers, not very easy, but great point by Jeremy Strong. He does say that it should be pointed out that Reds lineup was their opening day roster. All of their starters were in there versus Diamondbacks, minor league guys. So that's a good point to make, but still a 13-4 loss. So Kevin Ginkel and Ryan Thompson, they each scored one. They tossed one scoreless and hitless inning each. So great to see those guys doing work this spring and the results showing up. Meanwhile, today the Diamondbacks enter their game with the Seattle Mariners that I talked about earlier. That game will not have a lot of all-stars in that one, and it will be happening here shortly after we wrap. The Diamondbacks are 6-3 against AL opponents this spring, and they have won a couple of their games at night, 3-1 in their night game, or they won 3-1 in that game that we attended there. That was Ryan Nelson's first start. Zach Gallen's making his second spring start here since he made his debut against the Dodgers. And one encouraging sign, Damon, is Gabriel Moreno has hit safely in his last 4 games with a home run and 3 RBI.
You've been begging for it.
Oh, I needed it. I needed it more than I need air and water and to scream at people in traffic. But another thing I need is Corbin Carroll to return. And Corbin Carroll apparently is not only going to be back by opening day, Damon, Corbin Carroll might be back here in a few days because according to him, he wants to get 10 spring training games under his belt before opening day, which is exciting and makes all those other guys that broke their bones in their hand look like a bunch of chumps and losers. But we have here some video of Corbin talking about his injury that I wanted to get to here briefly. Let's go first. This is Corbin on. Let's start off with Corbin on how his hand feels.
Normal. Yeah. I don't really have much. Just it felt fine, and just keep taking it a day at a time and don't piss it off, but just keep trying to get towards game shape.
He's a man of little words at times. That should be no surprise.
Yeah, that is Corbin for you.
But this is what Corbin had to say about how close he is to being 100%. This is what he had to say.
It was just our plan, like just kind of moving along with the steps to getting back to playing, and hopefully get a couple spring training games in. I think that's definitely the plan. Yeah.
I mean, if you're already taking at bats, it doesn't seem like you might not be too far from getting in the game.
No. Yeah, close.
He's close. And again, swinging the bat, taking live ABs. He actually had a live at bat against Merrill Kelly. Talk about an encouraging sign there, seeing Merrill Kelly on the mound throwing to Corbin Carroll. That warms your heart. But
I mean, it was funny, Derek. Last week we were talking about how, like, I remember I said on the show, like, I don't know if we were talking about him getting swinging reps, and we were like, I don't know if he's taking live BP. And then while we were talking on the podcast, Alex Weiner posted Corbin Carroll taking live BP. It felt like we almost spoke it into existence, but the guy is a machine, man.
It's crazy. We have another one. This one, do the other one about how close he is. I know their two videos are very titled, very close, but this is him. I believe this is him saying that he wants to get those 10 spring training games in.
Oh, I think that might be a different one.
Oh, okay.
That might be on how his hand feels defensively, and then playing spring training games.
There we go. He was asked if everything's been okay defensively. He's taken fly balls out in right field, and we know it's his non-throwing hand as far as the injury is concerned, but it's still his catching hand. This is what Corbin had to say about how everything is healing defensively and getting in those 10 spring training games.
No pain. Yeah, feels good. Just kind of working back in with the normal defense group in the morning now, and do all the drills, get in game shape, and yeah.
How many spring training games are you kind of hoping to get
10.
into? 10? I think that's okay. So you have to get in pretty quickly then.
Yeah, that's
the way he says 10.
He's just such a, like,
he's the coolest person on the planet.
I
love
him, and we need guys like that on our team, and he's so likable, but at the same time, he just gives you nothing.
Oh,
man.
I know. Yeah, I know.
Zero emotion. Like, he's the opposite of Geraldo Perdomo. They could not be more opposite of one another.
That's a good point. He stays so even-keeled. I mean, again, I've never in the history of covering a baseball team ever seen anybody tell a reporter when asked a question, I need to think about that. And then he stood there and took time to think about that in the moment before looking back up and responding. It was wild. It was very thoughtful, and it just kind of is an example of the person he is. He didn't want to say something wrong, but he did have a question kind of sprung on him that he wasn't prepared to answer, and he wanted to give an answer. So he took the moment to kind of, put his thoughts together and give a decent answer, right? But he's very soft-spoken. He very much is this at all times. Like, what you see in these videos aren't different than when cameras aren't necessarily rolling. Corbin is just this. And I think really one of the underlying things here is probably a level of frustration. We are all looking at Corbin in amazement. When Corbin says so quickly, back to Alex Weiner right there, 10 games is what I'm going to get in. Like, we had no idea if he was even going to be back by opening day. And now he's talking about getting 10 spring training games in before opening day, meaning that he will be ready here, in the next 5 days, right? Or less to start getting into spring games. Because it's not necessarily 10 consecutive games, right? So maybe he has days off. I don't know if the Diamondbacks are going to put him into 10 straight games leading into spring training. So his start, as far as getting those 10 spring games in, might be here in a few days, which is just amazing. Considering you talk about Francisco Lindor and Jackson Holliday. Jackson Holliday's time has been pushed back to April, I believe, before he's going to resume baseball activity. Francisco Lindor, a whole other story there, right? I think Corbin, again, he is not amazed by himself or his healing or the fact that he's back so quickly. In fact, he was asked, this was what he had to say about if he was surprised by his progress and how quickly he has resumed baseball activity here.
It's just I'm going along with how it feels, and just again taking a day at a time, listening to my body, and it feels fine. So keep moving that way.
Like, I get it, right? Again, this is a stupid bone that apparently we don't even need in our hand, so useless that you can just remove it. right?
Yeah.
Like an appendix or wisdom teeth. These are dumb things that are in our bodies that we don't need. Let's just get rid of all of these things. But again, this is one of those things that, I think he's almost being asked in a way if he feels like he's coming back too quickly or if he's pressing too hard or anything like that. Like, he's following all of the medical guidelines that he should be following. And really what everybody has said about this injury, about this surgery, is that it's all about pain tolerance. And again, when you are a machine, when you are made simply of, twisted steel and sex appeal, then you don't feel any pain, apparently, in your arm or your hand or anywhere in your body. So that's where Corbin's at. But he was also inspired by another machine, and that is the one Lourdes Gurriel Jr., who we have been tracking his progress on his injury via his IG all offseason. And this is what Corbin had to say about Lourdes being probably ready himself by opening day.
Along with you.
Yeah, definitely inspiring. I think everyone's pretty amazed by what he's doing, and should be seems like should be good to go pretty soon here.
He hit that ball pretty well up there.
He did, or
he did.
I didn't see it on the last one, or
yeah,
I missed it. Yeah. I mean, I've heard really good things. I heard, it seems like he's taking a bunch of at bats and feels good. So, yeah.
I just I love how the reporters match Corbin's energy too. When you talk to Corbin, you have to speak in the softest spoken voice of.
You have to.
Hi, Corbin.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on how Lourdes has done?
It's like what Dave Chappelle said about people that are like, "Hi, how's it going?" And you're like, "Good, how are you?" And you're like, "I don't even talk like that. Why did I match your energy?" Oh, but let's go ahead and good, very encouraging updates here on Corbin Carroll. Cannot wait to see him back on a diamond playing in a regular baseball game. And you know what? Ernesto's not wrong. Bring Corbin back to the WBC roster. Let's get him back on there. Let's get him some WBC games in before this thing's over. But we're going to take a quick break. And on the other side of this break, we're going to do what we do around here on Mondays. And you know exactly what that is. And we're going to do that thing on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Corbin Carroll podcast. Well, I love hats. I might love hats more than any other piece of clothing that I wear, and that is why I love Branded Bills so much. Branded Bills make some of the best hats you can find. They are taking over the hat world. I know you've seen them everywhere you go. It started off as being like, hey, there's a Branded Bills logo over there, and there's a guy wearing Branded Bills hats. Now they are all over the place. You can get them as part of their campus collection for ASU and U of A. They have some amazing hats for both of those schools, as well as some amazing hats for the Phoenix Suns and for this great state of Arizona. But you can have your company stand apart from the crowd with some amazing hats from Branded Bills. Contact them right now, and their dedicated team will help you create the exact custom apparel you need, whether it's snapbacks, trucker hats, fitted hats, beanies. It doesn't matter. They also have shirts and bags, and those look great as well. Those are just as good as the hats, but their hats, that's really what they focus on, and that's what they're known for. Their incredible craftsmanship and logo work is second to none, and they are a local company from right here in Mesa, Arizona, so it always feels great to shop local. Whether you're starting to get that big order or you're just looking to get yourself a new hat, head on over to brandedbills.com and use code BBPHNX for 15% off your first order. And speaking of local companies, Pure Edibles was founded right here in Flagstaff, Arizona at Noble Herb Dispensary. And now they are available. Their wonderful products are available in 130 dispensaries across the state. And their products are hopefully exactly what you're looking for. They have a wide variety of effects, candies, and of course wonderful flavors that you can check out. Not only do they have gummies, but they have hard candies, chews, soft candies, their version of Starburst that they call Kicks, and new gummies or candies being added all the time. Also new flavors. They have some wonderful, delicious flavors, and their effects are clearly listed on each tin along with those flavors. That way you know exactly what you're getting into and what effect those candies will deliver, whether it is a mood elevating gummy, something to help with sleep, or perhaps even something to help reduce pain. Pure Edibles has you covered. They also have a collaboration with Mother Broad Brewing Company featuring the greatest IPA in all the land, Tower Station IPA. Right now you can get yourself a delicious all-in-one THC device with the same citrusy notes and piney hops of the Tower Station IPA, but now in a portable all-in-one THC device. So make sure to check out all of Pure Edibles products. You can get them from one of over 130 dispensaries across Arizona. Well, It is Monday, and you know what Monday means around here. You know that every year on the PHNX Diamondbacks podcast is our year. Every year is the year of Jesse Jr. Every single month on this podcast is Hispanic Heritage Month. Every single week on this podcast is Shark Week. Every single day on this podcast is International Women's Day. But on Mondays, Damon and I, we go to the mailbag. Damon, let's go to the mailbag.
My mailbox, always something interesting in my mailbox. I try to get to everything in my mailbox, and then once in a while there's a letter that makes me go wow, wow. My mailbox.
It's our guy Megaran. He's dragging me to go watch wrestling again this Friday. I told him no, and then he was like, "You don't have a choice. You're just coming with me."
Yeah, you're right.
You're right. I'm fine. Let's go watch SmackDown. What do we got in the mailbag today, Damon?
Our first question, of course, is from one Travis Moore, who says, quickly wanted to say how much I appreciate you guys, Derek and Damon, for showing up each day. Love the content, Dbacks, and baseball discussions. Any special plans for opening day? Thinking of breaking out the TV we have on a stand and watching the game on the patio.
Excellent.
Wow. That's electric.
That's electric. Yes. Getting outside, enjoying the weather during baseball. It's something I will miss very much of spring training. Probably the one thing I'll miss the most is being able to watch baseball actually outside. Though they will open that roof over at Jays Field a little bit, but not very much. Still, we do have some special plans for opening day. In fact, Travis, my guy, Damon and I, I don't even know, Damon, can I even include you in this?
God willing.
Damon, God willing, and I don't know, March Madness pending what happens with his basketball team. All of that is still up in the air, but we will be bringing you, regardless of Damon's status, a pregame and postgame show on opening day. We are also right now gathering the details on it, but for those of us local, and I'm sorry, Travis, this doesn't include you and your hatred for Arizona weather, we will be hopefully getting together for a watch party here at a local bar/restaurant here in the downtown area. So
for opening day?
For opening day. Now
wow.
That's for opening day for baseball. So that would be on Thursday when the Diamondbacks are playing the Dodgers. If you do not have plans, keep that date open. Make sure you come, maybe think about joining us around 5 p.m. We'll be doing a little bit of a pregame show live, as well as also hanging out with you guys and enjoying some baseball. Then Damon and I got to skedaddle and get back here to the studio for the postgame show. But
hopefully Arizona plays a Sweet 16 matchup earlier in the day that day, it's not at night, and then I can be a part of our festivities here for opening day. That would be the goal.
That would be the goal, and that would be amazing. And we love you, Travis. Thank you so much for your questions, as always. Hopefully you can join us from your patio with all of that. Michael Dixon wants to know if he can get on the pod if he comes down here. Yeah, as long as anybody except Killer X. Anybody except Killer X. Killer X, you're out. Everybody else, you're all welcomed to join us on the podcast. What else we got, Damon?
Also, Michael Dixon, make sure you sit down and get the popcorn ready to watch your favorite basketball team during the NCAA tournament. And that is whatever team Arizona is playing, because your squad is, in fact, not in it and never will be.
Yeah, that seems mean, but also
well, that's that.
factual.
I mean, what's mean is ASU fans literally rooting against our school, like their team is suiting up every year. That's the mean thing. I'm merely shooting back. I'm merely
save it.
Bring revenge.
You do this podcast later today. You save your vitriol for them then, okay?
I do every day.
All right, what do we got?
2 p.m.
What else we got?
We got Brian Bobbitt, of course, staple of the Mailbag Monday, saying, it's a bit of a long shot, but with ADC going to be missing some time and a decent spring to this point, could Luken Baker play his way into a time at DH to start? Feels like somewhat natural fit, large man with big pop. Just a bit of a strikeout issue in his career.
Yes, and I do think that it's not that out of the question. But Luken Baker right now hitting 250 with like an 899 OPS. Not terrible. I think he would have to play pretty well in order to secure any kind of role there for a DH. I also think that, we're not just looking at ADC as being the DH for this team. Damon and I have discussed how well that Lourdes Gurriel Jr. could fit in that role. Plus, the Diamondbacks could just kind of have a rotating spot where guys factor into that DH role when they're not in the outfield. You could have Jordan Lawler, for instance, filling in for Cattell, and Cattell could be DH. Perhaps Lawler filling in for Perdomo, who could DH. Whoever's not in the outfield also could factor in as a DH there between Lourdes and Corbin and Alek Thomas and Jordan Lawler. You have Pavin Smith and Carlos Santana over at first base. A few other situations. I don't know if Luken Baker is going to be able to make the roster just due to the limited nature of him being essentially just a DH. It's not to say he doesn't play other places. He plays first base and could factor in there as a first baseman of the future for this team as well. But I'm doubtful. Let's say that. I'm cautiously pessimistic that Baker will not be able to make that. But again, opportunities are everywhere for this team. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. I would say that based on, yesterday's results, he went 0 for 4. He would need to really pick his game up, I think, for them to start considering him that. Look at what these other guys are doing. Look at what Waldschmidt is doing. Even Gino Groover is hitting 281 with a 687 OPS. OPS obviously not as high, but much higher batting average, and he's still being reassigned to minor league camp as well. So I'm doubtful on that, but I do like Luken Baker a lot, and I hope that he has a bright future with this organization. What else we got?
We got our next question here, and this one is from Fleaball, and Fleaball says,
Such a good question.
Should MLB implement a mercy rule? I'd much rather watch Juan Soto hit a walk-off than watch Jose Herrera pitch the 9th.
Yes.
Wow, that is kind of a good question.
Is it not? Is
for
it
regular
not?
Season? Obviously not for MLB postseason play, but
also, you're right. Postseason, not even factoring in, but regular season, 162 games. We're already doing everything we can to make these games shorter, right?
A 7-inning run rule.
Same thing. Like WBC has a mercy rule where if you're up 15 runs by the end of, I believe, the 5th or the 6th, then it's a mercy situation. Or if you're up 10 after 7, then it's a mercy rule situation. I don't see games like this very often in baseball, right? And also I will say this as a factor, as someone that has watched Diamondbacks play baseball, you can actually come back in Major League Baseball from a 10-run deficit. I think that's the biggest thing here, right? You could have the opposing team's bullpen fall apart and you could easily score against them and make up that deficit. We've seen this Diamondbacks team come back from a 9-run deficit late, right? So that's probably the reason why they don't want to do it. Baseball in general can be one of those games where a major league roster can suddenly turn things around, especially against the bad pitcher, and make it a brand new ball game. So I doubt we would see something like that. And I feel like the frequency is far less, even if we did have a mercy rule. But I don't hate the idea of a mercy rule at all. Anything to keep games moving faster. And again, anything to limit the amount of injuries for unnecessary games that, don't need to necessarily happen, right? Or be as long as they are. That's what I'll say. I do like, though, a lot of things about World Baseball Classic, and I do think that there are things from this tournament that MLB should consider implementing. I don't really know enough about how the formula works for that whole, tiebreaker rule, but, I feel like there's ways to do things better than what we saw 2 years ago, when you had the Braves and the Mets just deciding that they were going to split the division or split the, playoff spots, but whatever. Anyway, Damon, I do want to thank our Supporters Club members because they're the best. RA, thank you so much. The rest of you guys, thank you for your support. You can join our Supporters Club today. It's easy to do so, $5 a month. You get access to additional content. Got new stuff coming out for members only all the time. Plus, you have access to custom emojis that you can use in the chats and in the comments, and you get that badge of honor that appears next to your name. So just think of it as a fun way to support us. If you send a super chat anytime at any point, then again, it's this is the route that you can go. It's not paywall or essential content that you're missing out on, just extra stuff. This is a great next step, though, and again, we appreciate the people who support us so much and keep us going. You guys are the lifeblood of PHNX, so we can't thank you enough. But all right, Damon, we got a couple of more questions before we get out of here.
Yeah, we do. And also, I did want to say there was a comment up here about the price of tickets decreasing because of that potential mercy rule being implemented. I think, actually, now that I think about it, they probably would never do that because beer sales in particular, right? Because that's something that they close down early, and there's not really a way of knowing
That's a great
that
point.
a team is going to get
That's a
run-rolled or
great
not.
point. Yeah,
And
because they stopped selling beer, in like the 7th inning,
I think
right?
the 7th inning. So if a team has a walk-off and someone just ordered a beer,
that's a great point.
Now they got to leave the stadium, but they can't leave they can't bring their beer with them.
Yeah, you're walking around with a 32-ounce cup filled with beer.
I wonder if that would be
a
big hurdle in this situation.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
Just something that came to mind.
Especially considering that, like you said, you never know how fast those games could go, right? Like even if you did stop drinking before the mercy rule was implemented, it still might happen too fast. All right, what else we got there, Damon?
We got Geraldo Perdomo's biggest fan.
Still debatable.
Not really a question, but I need a complete review from you guys of Alek Thomas's performance in the WBC and how the manager for Team Mexico said he's going to be an all-star and gold glove candidate. I can feel a breakout year coming.
Well, we did this entire podcast for you, Geraldo Perdomo's biggest fan. So I hope that answered the question.
Thanks for the show topic.
Thanks for the headline. Thanks for everything. But no, I mean, all of this feels very good, right? Like, again, you don't want to get too ahead of yourself. It is spring training. It is World Baseball Classic, blah, 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 blah. You could say that about a lot of things. I still say that, when you look at the guys that are all-stars on this team who are struggling at the plate still this spring, those guys are hitting against the same pitchers that Alek Thomas is hitting against and that Jordan Lawler is hitting against. There's no difference in the level of talent that's on the mound against those guys versus Ketel and Gabby Moreno and guys that aren't putting up nearly as impressive numbers as what Alek Thomas is doing. I mean, let's be honest. AT is probably the guy that's disappointed in the way he's performed in his career up to this point more than any of us. So it shouldn't be a surprise when a guy who has the raw talent that Alek Thomas does puts in the work and sees the results. It's like what we were saying earlier about Corbin Carroll. Changes can be made, adjustments, right? Coaching, all of that kind of stuff. Things, little piece of advice. Brent Strom having a weird idea in the middle of the night during the All-Star break and calling up Brandon Pfaadt to tell him how he needs to pitch from the other side of the rubber. I mean, things like that actually happen in baseball. So it's incredible, and it does mean the world to this team if instead of they have a core 3 as far as their position players, they have a core 4 or a core 5, and you could throw Alek Thomas and perhaps Gabby Moreno in there as well. Not only guys that are going to shape the future of this franchise, but guys that could help them win during a 2026 season where their back is kind of up against the wall. A lot of things could change for this team and baseball after this season. So this is kind of an all or nothing season for a lot of guys on this team. Zach Gallen is only on a 1-year contract. This is potentially the end of the line for Torey Lovullo as manager of this team. There's a lot here for the Diamondbacks to come out and kind of be all in on a 2026 season for sure. All right, what else we got?
Our next question here is from Jarmy, and Jarmy says, at the Sunday game in Goodyear, everyone could see the evolution of Lawler. He homered, he had some great plays in center field, and he went 2 for 4, drove in half the day's runs. I know I have to apologize for the trash I talked all 2025. Who else in this chat does?
Well, Killer X, obviously, but Damon, let's go ahead and you want to raise your hand? You want to take some accountability?
Oh, what? I'm sorry. What are we talking? I don't remember what we were talking about.
I will be your accountability buddy.
Wait, what? What happened?
What happened was there was doubt in Jordan Lawler.
Huh.
Maybe not a lot of it.
Not from this co-host.
Actually, yes. Yeah, I believe it was. I mean, we could probably review some tape and probably find some comments being made. However, you could also say that Damon looking directly into a camera and saying that Jordan Lawler better have a breakout year might be the reason why he's having one. I don't know.
Lit a fire under his ass, Derek.
I don't know.
People are saying that I might be responsible for motivating Jordan Lawler.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I have said some things about Jordan Lawler. I'll put my hand up, Jeremy.
Yeah.
I'm not even halfway. I've been a doubter. I've said at times in this offseason, like, you know what? If I feel like I can get a tangible upgrade on the pitching staff by trading Jordan Lawler, then I'm very open to it because, I think this, I mentioned like this could be the last potential year of you getting value for Jordan Lawler. Feels like the Dbacks were like, we're going to hold on to him. We believe in him. And if he can figure this out, his value will only go up. And then you'd be selling at his lowest possible price point. So I credit to Jordan Lawler. I think it's really difficult to do what he's had to do this offseason and like put his head down and kind of put the outside noise to the side, but feels like he's really carving out himself a role on this roster. And, listen, as much as I've talked crap, like no one would be more excited than me to see him go out there and hit 300 next year. Like no one would be more excited than Jarmy to see him, show up and be a staple of this organization for years to come. No one's rooting against Jordan Lawler except Killer Rex, but everybody else is rooting for him and wants to see him succeed. So I'll put my hands up.
That's a great point. Let's scroll back to that Killer Rex message. We need to put that on screen just to preserve it for future generations and for the history of this podcast. Killer Rex says, if Lawler hits more than 20 home runs, I will donate $200 to the podcast.
Oh, I'd love that super chat. 20 home runs is not like, I mean, I think it's lofty. I don't think it's going to happen, but I wouldn't say it's like entirely out of the question.
Make it 300. He said make it 300. He's even increasing it. That's gonna that
Mr.
20th home run,
Killer Rex.
That 20th home run is gonna hit. So it's gonna feel so good, Damon, when it hits. It's gonna feel so good. And who knows, Jordan Lawler, again, it's gonna be mostly about getting playing time and where he factors in order for him to hit 20 home runs. That's for sure. But I mean, I'll agree with what J. said. I think that overall he's been asked to do a lot. He hasn't really had consistency, and now that it's kind of been decided what his role is going to be and where he's going to play, and he's getting consistent at bats, you're seeing consistent play out of him. So
he hit a slider for a bomb yesterday, didn't he?
I think every single one of his home runs have been off of breaking balls,
off-speed pitches, which is great to see. I think that might be like number one thing you want to see if you're looking for Jordan Lawler, like what he can become, because like spring is the time to work on things. I'm sure he's been told, like, if you get a breaking pitch, you attack it, because we want to see what that looks like right now before it starts actually affecting the team at a negative sense. So I think that's huge. If he can hit breaking pitches, that's going to be absolutely massive.
Ernesto says only 10% of MLB players hit 20 home runs in 2025. Thanks, Captain Bring Down. We're over here having a good time.
He's a guy with power, though. He has power. Like, he has raw power. So I think that's the difference there, is that Jordan Lawler's always been a bit of a home run guy. And if he's going to be a good MLB player, I think that, 15, 20 home runs is reasonable. Yeah, we'll see. Sure. I think it's more likely that, and I think it's more likely Alek Thomas has a better season than Jordan Lawler, but I think it's more likely that Jordan Lawler hits more home runs than Alek Thomas. Like with you kind of bringing up the 20 home run number for Alek Thomas yesterday, I'm more confident that Jordan Lawler can reach 20 total home runs than I am Alek Thomas.
That's fair. And like I said, there's definitely been more during spring training that it would make you believe that for Jordan Lawler than Alek Thomas. So Alek Thomas only has the one home run from last night's game, right?
Yeah, and he hits the ball kind of hard, but he doesn't really hit it over the fence all that often.
Correct.
So I think Jordan, he's supposed to be a little bit of a home run hitter, right? Like at a position where, maybe you don't see a ton of home runs, like whether he was going to play short, second, center field. I think that the role of a Jordan Lawler was always that this guy is going to be a plus hitter at one of those positions. And so that includes hitting home runs. And hopefully we got $300 in our hands, Derek, for between the two of us. I don't want no super chats. Derek's Venmo, $300.
Yeah.
And then we split it. He splits it with me, and it goes in Damon and Derek's pocket.
We just go and we go crazy in downtown Phoenix, taking shots.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. What else we got, Damon? Let's get one more in here before we get out of here. We've taken up too much of these people's good time.
Yeah, we have. We always do, Derek. We always do. This is our last question from Dumplings. JJ asks, look at this concession food menu and affordable prices at the Tokyo Dome. Wish we could have that at Chase, or at least we could get rid of the Bar S. Seriously, my local youth baseball league's concession stand serves more much better quality hot dogs than what we get at Dbacks games.
Sponsorship deals ruin everything, don't they? Like, I'm gonna agree with this. If given the choice at a store, I would never buy a Bar S hot dog. There are just too many higher quality hot dogs.
Max is back today, right?
Is this a free ad? I feel like this is actually.
I think every time
this is impacting future partnership deals with Bar S potentially. So you're right about that. Look, I will defend Chase Field's concession prices and say, let's not forget that the Diamondbacks do have, in fact, one of the lowest concession prices in all of Major League Baseball.
True.
Shout out to the Dbacks and the Suns for both providing families with affordable options when you go to a game. I mean, in fact, a lot of times I just crave a hot dog being at baseball games, and even though I could get like an all-you-can-eat buffet in the spring in the press box, I'll go down and get like 3 or 4 value dogs for about the same price that I would pay, and I'm still living my best life, right? So shout out to Chase Field for that. But I agree. I would like a higher quality of hot dog, and I do love the concession pricing at the Tokyo Dome. More importantly, the Tokyo Dome has an ice cream sandwich. That the ice cream sandwich itself, Damon, is a small, tiny model of the Tokyo Dome.
I did see this, and I gotta say, it's pretty freaking incredible.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's also a legendary place for pro wrestling, so I'm kind of jealous that I'm not there for baseball as well. But Tokyo Dome, little Tokyo Dome shaped ice cream sandwiches, incredible.
They look unreal. There's like a wafer type of deal with the sandwich.
Oh
with the
God,
ice
yes!
cream
I had
sandwich.
one of these in LA because we were staying near Little Tokyo when we were at the Grammys, and one of the places had this like ice cream sandwich shaped like a fish. This magic like, I don't know, exterior to it that was just delicious and incredible and unlike anything I've ever had. Plus, the ice cream looked hard, like it was going to be hard when you bit into it. Soft as can be, Damon.
Can I just
like
say,
biting into a dream?
Derek, I need to get this off my chest. I've obviously been pretty, I don't want to say anti-Japan, because I wanted to make it clear that I'm very anti-Japan baseball.
You've been very anti-Japan.
Baseball.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Baseball. Because I keep sending reels on Instagram to my lady friend saying, we got to get out to Japan.
Oh,
I want to go to Japan
100%. Yeah.
And I think the Japanese people, that they know how to do things the right way. The streets are clean. Things are decently affordable.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there and I'm like,
food's amazing.
The food's amazing. I'm like, dude, can we bring an aspect of like the shame that they experience in Japan to America so that people can actually have shame and treat society with respect here in this country of ours? Because there's zero respect from people in America for each other. Whereas in Japan, like that's kind of, I think, the basis of it is like everyone like cares about society. Everyone wants to, not be the reason that society is in a worse place. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, break me off a piece of that. So shout out to Japan. And I want to make it very clear that I'm anti-Japanese baseball because I hate Ohtani so much.
Right, I get it. Even though he's the greatest player that has ever played the game.
Ever. Like I'll admit that. He's easily the greatest player ever.
His time.
Yeah, me and Augie Ojeda were talking about Derek, how he's the greatest player ever, because he brought up to me how good Shohei is, and can you imagine what's going through my brain? And he's like, "How about that Shohei guy?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he's so good, isn't he? Isn't it just special what he does?" And instead, the whole time I'm sitting there going, "Prison." Put him in jail. And I gotta hold my tongue.
We were taking questions at the baseball block party, and in fact, I know our guy Jackson Doran wanted to ask you specifically while on stage about Shohei, just to get your reaction live in front of the crowd.
In front of a public audience.
He chose not to do so, and I will never forgive him for that.
I most likely would have said, like, we probably need to see him in the back of that Mesa police car.
Yeah, that one sitting right over there.
ASAP.
Yeah, the one,
absolutely.
Meanwhile, I had
shout out Jackson.
I don't know if it's a viral tweet, but a tweet that was very popular because I simply was watching the WBC, and I saw Munetaka Murakami say that he was asked, what parts of Japanese culture, Damon, like what you're saying, what parts of Japanese baseball, what traditions, what parts of your culture?
He's like, I don't know, maybe picking up trash on the street. That'd be a good start.
No, you know what his answer was? Stronger water pressure and shower heads that swivel. What is going on over at Camelback Ranch? I need to know what this man's first impression of the United States is that our water pressure sucks and the shower heads don't move.
Listen, man, it's not Japanese engineering. Derek,
also big proponent of the bidet, and I think that the White Sox fans are going to inevitably nickname him the plumber. There's no way they don't. He's going to be the plumber Munetaka Murakami, or Munetaka the plumber Murakami. I don't know how it's going to factor in. He's going to be the plumber. He might even be like a Mario brother since his name has 2 M's in it. I don't know.
Is the plumber a good nickname? It feels like a negative.
No, it's not a good one, but yeah. But when all you're worried about is bidets and plumbing and shower pressure and water pressure, that's what happens. That's the nickname.
I'll tell you what, we don't engineer like the Japanese do.
No.
There's a reason I just bought myself a Toyota, Derek. I'm looking up watches yesterday. Every single person is like, you got to get yourself some hands on a Japanese watch. They're the best bang for your buck.
Damon.
Like, Derek, everything that these guys make mechanically is top-notch, top-of-the-line level stuff.
I've been banging the drum for every toilet to have a bidet in it for years. So I am on board with this, man. I'll put it this way. For anybody that is anti-bidet, if I were to wipe a chocolate bar on your arm, are you going to get it off with a wad of paper, or are you going to go use a sink to wash it off? That's all I'm saying. It's the best comparison without being gross that I can make right now. And we're going to move on from this plumbing conversation because, once again, we've gone on for too long. But we thank you guys so much for your time. We know your time is valuable, and we appreciate you sharing a bit of it with us today. We will be back tomorrow at 12 p.m. noon. But before that, Damon and I will be doing a little watch-along tonight for Team USA versus Team Mexico and the WBC. I believe that starts at 5 p.m. Now that all you people changed your clocks and did your daylight savings time that we don't participate in here in Arizona. So starting at 5 p.m., Damon and I will be doing a little watch along, watching baseball and rooting on Alek Thomas. That's who we'll be rooting on. That's all I'm saying is, there's no Dbacks players on Team USA. So we have to pick a side, and we may have already picked our side. But until then, follow us on Twitter. I'm at Cap_Caveman with a K. Damon is at Damon Dog with a DAWG. And as always, we're all Damon's dogs. Bark, bark. Our show is at PHNX_Dbacks, but all roads do lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you guys so much for your time. Appreciate you stopping by. We'll see you tonight for the watch along and perhaps back here tomorrow at 12 p.m. for another show. Until then, enjoy yourselves, behave yourselves, Robert. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun if Alek Thomas becomes an all-star.
We all silly like the mayor.